I need to start by saying that I don't know that I'm supposed to make this video, but I feel in my heart that I'm supposed to, and my heart is the only thing that I can trust right now. So I'm going with it. Last Thursday evening, I got on a bus with a somewhat uneasy feeling. I was going to my dad's to watch the Seahawks game. And he had texted me that evening to ask if I was coming over. I didn't remember that it was a Seahawks game, but we usually watch the games together. And when he texted me, I realized that I had scheduled a lesson for 7 o'clock. And I had a little bit of a dilemma. And I thought through it. And it occurred to me that as I thought through it, it was an issue of, do I go to my dad's and watch the game, which is a part of our relationship? It's a big thing that we do together. Or do I stick with the lesson that I had committed to? And I decided that I would message my student and get a feel for where she was at, see how tough it would be for her to reschedule. And it was really simple. And so I went to my dad's. But again, as I got on the bus, I was feeling uneasy. And I went there, and it was fine. We watched the game, and it was cool. And afterwards, I just had a little bit of time to get further and further into why I was uneasy about this. What was it that was bothering me? And as I thought about it more and more, I realized that while I initially in my brain had decided that my relationship with my dad was more important than this particular lesson with the student, that's not the actual decision that I made. And what I actually chose to do was violate a commitment that I had made with somebody. And I instead chose a non-commitment that I had made. And in some context, this wouldn't really be a big deal, but I have been committed to being a man of integrity. And part of that is sticking with your commitments. And my spirit, my heart, my gut instincts they were trying to tell me in that moment before I got on that bus, you're making the wrong decision. It's not because your student's more important than your dad, but it's because your word is more important than your relationship with your dad. Last time when I talked about integrity, it was this idea that if the words that come out of your mouth aren't true, you know that, and you won't be able to listen to the words that you tell yourself. But a lot of things that we say don't have a truth value until later. When I make a commitment to somebody that I'm going to be at an appointment at 7 o'clock, that's not true or not true at that point. It only becomes true or not true when the moment of action comes. And it was such a simple thing, guys, and it's not a big deal in one context, but the violation of my own heart, the violation of my own spirit, the commitment to walking in what I know I'm supposed to be doing and ignoring my brain and going with the gut instinct, which always, I'm learning at 39 years old. Guys, my gut instincts and my spirit, it's the trustworthy part of me. I spent the first half of my life thinking that my brain, my brilliant mind was there to tell all of my emotions to fuck off. You're not real. Like, the real thing is what I can rationalize through and what I can think through. And now what I'm realizing is the real power of my mind is that I can think through what I felt and figure out why I felt it. I knew I wasn't supposed to get on that bus, and I did it anyways, and that was the greatest sin. And as I realized this, I was broken, man. I was sitting there sobbing with my dad and just feeling like, God damn it, there's one fucking thing you're supposed to do right now, and be a man of integrity. And it's not just about, guys, it's not just about telling the truth. Integrity, as my dad has pointed out recently, it comes from the idea of being integrated. The parts of me are all working together. The things I say, the things I do, the things I feel, they need to be integrated. Sometimes lying might be the most integrated thing you can do. I can't tell you when those times would be, but maybe there's a time where you pick dishonesty because you know it's the right thing to do. And it was when I was sobbing with my dad that I realized, and it came to me, one of the most important things that I've learned recently is that learning to walk requires falling a certain number of times. And it was then that I realized, while I'm still crying, that, okay, walking in integrity is a new thing for me. And just like when I started to walk as a toddler, it was a new thing. Maybe before toddlers, when do people walk? I always forget this. But we learn to walk, guys. We calibrate. Our bodies calibrate how to walk by taking a couple steps and falling over. And subconsciously, we log in what works and what doesn't. And in a very short time, we're pretty good walkers. And that process is in every part of our lives. And I just had to remind myself in that moment that while I did fail to operate as a man of integrity, I fell down. And that's part of the learning process. And I asked my dad to hug me, and I asked him to repeat these words because I didn't want them just coming from within me. I wanted an audible voice, and I was like, Dad, would you please tell me these words? It's okay. You're learning to walk in your spirit. And as he said those words, my tears came out again. So hopefully this meant something to somebody. Again, I don't know that I was supposed to say this. But I wanted to confess to you guys and live openly that I want to be a man of integrity, and that's going to take work. And I think it's probably going to take a few more falls. But I'm going to learn how to do this shit. I'm going to become the man that I'm destined to be. I'm going to become the man that I want to be. Thanks.